you're often just drowning in raw numbers and text. But the real magic, the part that actually matters, that happens when we turn all that raw stuff into insights we can actually use. So today, we're going to unlock one of the most powerful and honestly simplest functions in SQL to do exactly that. So just imagine this for a sec. You've got this big table full of employee data. But what you really need are things like job titles or performance tiers. How do you create those labels on the fly, right there in your query, without some crazy complicated process? Well, that's the exact problem we're going to solve today. Look, this is a super common challenge, right? We have a table, let's say it's got employee records, name, age, salary. It's all good, useful raw data. But what we need are categories that mean something to the business, like actual job titles. We have to find a way to translate those numbers into names. And the cool part is, you don't need a complex procedure or some messy workaround for this. There's a really slick, efficient tool built right into SQL that is absolutely perfect for this kind of thing. All right, let's meet our hero for today, the IIF function. This little thing is the basic building block for making decisions right inside our queries.
At its core, IIF is just so simple. Think of it like a tiny if this then that statement. It just asks the question you give it. If the answer is yes, it gives you one value. If the answer is no, it gives you another. That's really all there is to it.
So it really just boils down to three simple parts. First, you've got the condition. That's the question you're asking, like, is this person younger than 33? Then there's the value of true, what you get back if the answer is yes. And finally, the value of false, which is what you get if the answer is no. Condition, true value, false value. Simple as that. And here it is in the wild. Our condition is age less than 33. If that's true for an employee, the function spits out junior engineer. If it's false, they get senior engineer. And we just tell it to call this new column designation. And just like that, with one line of code, we've created a whole new category. Okay, that's great for a simple black or white situation. But let's be real. Business logic is usually way more complicated than that. What if you don't just need 2 job titles, but maybe 5 or 6 or even more? And that brings us to the really cool part, scaling up with something called nesting. This is where IIF goes from being a handy tool to being an absolute game changer for handling sophisticated business rules. The idea is kind of like those Russian nesting dolls. You know, you open one up and there's another one inside. It's the same thing here. Instead of just giving a simple value of false, you stick a whole new IIF function in there. This lets you build a chain of decisions, which means you can have way more outcomes. Okay, I know this looks a little crazy, but let's just walk through it together. First, the query asks, is the age less than 28? If yes, great, they're a junior engineer. If no, it just moves on to the next if inside. Is the age less than 31? If yes, associate engineer. If no, well, you see the pattern. It just keeps going down the line until it runs out of questions and assigns director to everyone else. Now think about that for a second. With just a single logical line of SQL, we have built an entire career ladder right into our query. That is unbelievably efficient. We've taken complex business logic and embedded it right into our data retrieval. All right, theory is great, the code is cool, but how do we actually make this a permanent part of our data? Let's turn this powerful logic into something tangible that we can actually use again and again.
So when you run a query like we've been doing, that new designation column you see, it's just temporary. It only exists for that one moment. But what if we want to save all this new categorized data so we can use it later?
The whole trick is this little phrase right here, into new emp1. By adding this to our query, we're basically telling SQL, hey, take the entire result of this query, all the original columns, plus our brand new designation column, and save it all into a new table called new emp1. And boom, here's our final result. A clean, organized, and most importantly, permanent table, where every single employee has a meaningful designation, all based on that logic we just wrote. We've officially transformed our raw data. Now here's the best part. This isn't some one-trick pony that only works for age. We just used age as an example. You can apply this exact same logical structure to any numerical data you have in your tables. For example, look at this. It's the same nested if structure, but this time it's creating job titles based on salary brackets. The column is different, the values are different, but the core logic, that powerful nested if, is exactly the same. It's just incredibly versatile. So let's kind of zoom out for a second and bring it all home. Why should this one little function be a key part of your data toolkit? What's the big picture here? Well, to put it simply, IIF gives you a new superpower. It lets you create dynamic categories instantly. You can embed your company's actual business rules right into the SQL itself, which means way less manual work and fewer messy steps. It's just a fantastic tool for cleaning and organizing data efficiently. When it all comes down to it, what we've really learned is how to take a simple column of numbers and, with one elegant command, turn it into a column of labels that gives you real, actual business insight.
And that is a massive step up.
And that really leaves us with one final question for you. Think about your own data for a minute. Think about all the manual sorting and categorizing you might be doing right now. What business rules, whether it's customer tiers, product categories, whatever, could you automate and simplify right now